I'm Jeff Butler of the Butler Law Firm. After a personal injury or a wrongful death, people often ask themselves, should I hire a lawyer? The question depends. I am a lawyer, of course, but you don't always need one. If you've been involved in a minor car accident where your car was damaged but nobody was hurt, you may actually not need a lawyer to help you resolve that issue. Whether you hire a lawyer is, of course, up to you. It's 100% your decision. But know that if you decide to handle a case on your own, you're going to be dealing with and negotiating against an insurance adjuster, someone who works for an insurance company who negotiates with people who have been harmed or the relatives of people who have been killed for a living, who's a professional and who does it day in and day out. Realize, too, that the bigger your case is, the stronger the adjuster is going to be. Now, insurance adjusters get paid by their insurance companies to save them money. That is, insurance adjusters are paid to keep money for their insurance companies by giving away as little of it as possible to people who have been hurt or to families who have had someone killed. So their incentives are the exact opposite from yours. And the more serious the injury, the better the adjuster is going to be. With that, let's talk about some of the tricks that insurance adjusters use, and that if you decide to handle a claim on your own, you want to be on the lookout for. Number one is fake empathy. This is a really common tactic nowadays because when most people call an insurance adjuster, they're a little bit nervous. They haven't ever done this before. And insurance adjusters try to take people off their guard by sounding friendly. Sometimes they'll even say that they're going to try to help you, as though the insurance company wants to give you its money. Don't fall for that. Negotiations with an insurance adjuster are negotiations at arm's length against someone who wants the opposite of what you want. Number two, this is in red because it's a big one. Realize that you can't take the case to trial. Now, this probably won't surprise you, but insurance companies don't pay people who have been hurt or pay the claims of people who have lost family members out of the goodness of their hearts. They do it because they don't feel like they have a choice. When an insurance company pays a claim, they're doing that because they have decided that if the claimant goes to court and takes the case all the way to trial, the insurance company is likely to lose in an amount that's bigger than what they have to pay to settle the case. In other words, insurance companies pay claims when they have to do it, when they know that the person they're negotiating against can take the case to trial and win if the insurance company doesn't settle the case first. This is a big risk for handling cases without a lawyer because it's really hard, not impossible, but hard for someone to take a case to trial by himself or herself. Insurance companies know that and are more likely to send lowball offers because they don't think the person they're negotiating against can take the case to court and win in front of a jury. Number three, claim to take 100% responsibility. This is a really, really common tactic. When most people call insurance companies, they think they're going to be arguing about who was at fault in the collision. But most of the time, that's not the case. Most collisions are pretty clear. If somebody rear ends someone else, that's normally clear. If somebody runs a stoplight, it's normally clear who's at fault for the car accident. So that's not what we're fighting over. So when an insurance company says something like, we're going to accept 100% responsibility, that often doesn't mean much. In a personal injury or wrongful death claim, the fight is normally not over who caused the collision, but over how much money has to be paid to resolve the case. Take this, for example. Pretend that a young boy like my son throws a baseball through my neighbor's window and walks over there and says, Mr. Neighbor, I'm so sorry about that. I'd like to pay the window at half price. My neighbor would probably say, excuse me? But that's what insurance companies do all the time. They pretend to accept responsibility, but then they don't want to pay the full amount of money that it would take to compensate someone for the past medical bills, for the pain and suffering, for the interference with daily living, for future medical costs, and those kinds of things. So often when an insurance company says 100% responsibility, that ain't really what it means. Number 4, short you on your medical bills. Sometimes insurance companies will talk about medical bills and they'll even look at medical bills, but they don't want to pay the whole thing. Instead, they'll say, oh, I only want to pay you what your deductible was, or I only want to pay you what you came out of pocket. That's not what you're entitled to. A person who has health insurance, who helps take care of those bills, doesn't get paid less because he or she was smart enough to have health insurance. The insurance company doesn't get to save money on that basis in Georgia because of what's known as the collateral source rule. Someone who's been hurt by the wrongful conduct of another is entitled to the full value of the medical bills, not just their out-of-pocket expense or not just what the insurance company paid. While we're talking about medical bills, the 5th one is keep your reimbursement obligations secret. A lot of people don't realize this about personal injury cases, but normally, and it varies from case to case, but normally at the end of the case, the personal injury claimant, the person who's been hurt or who has collected money, has to pay some of it back to the hospitals who provided treatment, the doctors who provided treatment, or the medical insurers who paid for the treatment. So when an insurance company, when a car insurance company says, we're going to give you X amount of money, they often don't tell you that that amount is going to be diminished or reduced by your reimbursement expense. A good lawyer can help with that by negotiating those reimbursement obligations down on the front end before you have to pay them, which puts more in a claimant's pocket in the long run. Now, we've been through the first 5 tricks of insurance companies, and we'll go through tricks 6 through 10 in the next video.